Welcome to Trial Alchemy, and I'm delighted today to have as my guest Brian Chase. Brian's the leader of an 8-attorney AV-rated national law firm up in Newport Beach, been in existence since 1977. Brian is the managing partner, and he's a senior trial attorney. And the firm specializes in automotive defect cases, catastrophic personal injury cases, mass torts, pharmaceutical and medical devices. Brian's been very involved in legal groups, and as part of the leadership, he was the 2015 president of the Consumer Attorneys of California. He was president in 2007 of the Orange County Trial Lawyers Association. Brian's a member of ABOTA. And in 2014 and 2004, he was named Trial Lawyer of the Year in Products Liability by the Orange County Trial Lawyers Association. So when you're in your trial and you're doing your direct and cross, with cross-examination, seems to me, I think of cross as kind of two types of cross. Mm-hmm. The traditional closed cross where you ask a question, trying to get a yes or no, you know the answer all the time. And then there's kind of what I call the open cross, kind of a Jerry Spence approach of, I'm not asking the closed question, I'm kind of telling my story, and I don't really care what your answer is. Do you tend to use one or the other form, or do you tend to use both and you mix it up?
Yeah, both. I think you have to use both. Certainly the closed cross, I mean, I think you want to do that for sure. I've never not done that. And one little trick I do is with experts, I will literally type up the question that I ask them in the deposition when I got the answer from them. And I will say it verbatim. And as soon as they disagree, and then we go have a sidebar, and they're like, wait a minute, Your Honor, Mr. Chase didn't impeach him. And I go, have the reporter read back the question I just asked. It's verbatim from the depo. So I will find, 3 to 6 areas with experts and literally almost read the question back, although I don't want to sit there and read in front of the jury. So, I do that just to get the impeachment stuff that I know I'm going to run in closing argument. But then you also, to go to your Jerry Spence analogy, is just tell your story. Because even though the judge tells the jury questions aren't evidence, if you tell your story effectively, some of the jurors are gonna hear what your story is, and they'll understand why you're going where you're going. So I think
it can be pretty darn effective.
Oh yeah, no, someone that's really, really good at it. I mean, there's some people, that are masters at that, and Spence is one of them. But I've seen some lawyers are just great. I'm going to say I'm okay at it. I know it's important, so I do it.
Yeah.
But I what I don't like about it is you're telling your story and then you're getting this answer. And there's always a piece of me that's like, I hope the jury's not paying attention to the answer, and I hope they're paying attention to my story. To me, it's a little more daring to do it that way. But, I think all good trial lawyers do it.
Well, I think it is a little more daring. But on the other hand, it kind of depends upon if you've got a compelling and believable story that holds up. Right. Then sometimes that open close cross is very effective, because whatever their answer is, it's not going to make a lot of sense. The jury's going to go, that guy's full of crap.
Right. No, yeah. That's the prayer.
Yeah, that's the prayer. Now, what happens? I don't know that experienced trial lawyers will do this, but when you're young lawyers in law school and you're taught this thing, never ask a question where you don't know the answer. Do you ever ask questions where you're not entirely sure what the answer is going to be?
Rarely, but yes. I mean, as a general rule, I like to follow that. But there are times that, and it's just kind of an instinctual thing, There are, and it happened in my last trial, and I was cross-examining this witness, and I didn't know the answer, and there was a good piece of me that thought he may not know the answer either on this really complicated mathematical formula. And so I'll never forget this. I'm thinking, if he answers it, it's not going to hurt me anyway.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to ask him. I said, I go, Mr. So-and-so, can you get up, and go over to the butcher paper, and can you show the jury your math on that? Oh, there was like 4 lawyers at the defense table. Their jaws dropped. and I realized when I saw their jaws drop, They knew he probably wasn't going to be able to do the math. And he didn't. I mean, he didn't. He missed it by a couple decimal points. So I won't bore you with the details.
Oh, that's great.
So definitely, it's kind of an instinctual thing, and I know I've seen people do that effectively, even if they get some bad answers. I notice defense lawyers do it a lot. I don't see as plaintiff lawyers doing it, and I hate it because which teaches me to think I should maybe do it more, which is why you're probably asking this question, because I'll sit there and defense lawyers don't mind asking 5 questions in a row and they're just getting burped up on by the witness. Then on the 6th question, all of a sudden they hang a left turn and it comes back to them and they stumbled onto something. They don't mind fishing in front of the jury. I don't like to do that much, but I will do it from time to time.
I think you're right. The defense lawyers will fish more, but the other way I've seen this work, and it's the exception to the general rule, is sometimes when you think about a question and an issue, and you've done your prep, so you're really well prepared, you realize, I don't know the answer, but there's no good answer they can give for them.
Exactly.
It won't hurt me, whatever their answer is. And you should always ask that question.
Right.
If you can see it.
Yeah. And it was kind of like that math question I did. They brought in this engineer, this very complicated electronic system in a car. In my head, I'm like, they didn't produce a document to show that formula in discovery. And I think this guy just might be up there being a paid mouthpiece. Yeah. So that's fun stuff.
Thank you so much for being a guest today.
Oh, Monty, my pleasure. And thanks again for having me on here.